If you have to roll a 2+ to charge, don't roll a 1.
Hey guys, I've been requested to do a video on dueling. This video will be on the basics of dueling, and the second video will be the various dueling builds for each army's characters. So any special rules pertaining to characters such as the nomadic assassin or dweg command stands will be covered in a future video. First, only characters can issue duels, and for the purposes of today's video, the Blooded is the active player's character, and the Conager is the non-active player's character. We have the Blooded in a regiment of Ogres, and we have the Conager in a regiment of Trolls. To resolve a dueling action, choose an enemy character stand in an enemy regiment in contact with the regiment your character stand is attached to. The character stand does not need to be in contact with your character stand. So this Blooded character can be, for instance, over here and not in contact with the Conager and still be able to issue a duel. Let's put them back in their original positions. Your opponent, the Conager, can now elect to accept the duel or decline it. If they decline, the enemy character stand's regiment becomes broken and the duel action ends. So, why would you want the enemy regiment to be broken? Let's say the Blooded challenges the Conager and the Conager's player refuses the duel. You now mark the Troll regiment with a broken token. We'll put it out here so you can see it. And let's look at the negatives of being broken. Effects of being broken. The regiment uses the lowest resolve characteristic in the regiment. Furthermore, it may not be affected by special rules, draw events, or other rules and abilities that occur during the game and positively affects its resolve characteristics. So, for instance, if the Troll regiment has a resolve of 3 and the Conager has a resolve of 4, whenever this regiment is called to make a resolve test, it will use the Troll's base of 3, not the Conager's base of 4. Furthermore, if you were to cast a spell to increase this regiment's resolve by +1, this regiment will no longer have its resolve increased by 1. Second point, the regiment is unable to perform a charge action during their activation, which is not applicable over here. Third point, it cannot be healed or have stands restored. So, for instance, if I dueled the Troll regiment's character and they refused, and let's say the Trolls had 4 wounds on them, okay? When the Troll's regiment activates, it cannot regenerate because regenerating is healing. So because the regiment is broken, this regiment can never heal until it rallies. This also stops spells from healing this regiment as well. The broken regiment's stands do not count towards seizing objective zones. So if we were fighting over an objective zone, let's say that this regiment was actually over this objective zone, okay? The Trolls would not count towards capturing the zone, meaning that my Ogre stands are now going to control this zone, or they're going to seize the zone. The broken regiment cannot benefit from the inspired special rule. So not only could the Trolls not heal when they activate, they could not use the inspired special rule to raise their clash from 2 to 3 before they do the clash action. So there are many reasons why you want a regiment broken. Also, if a regiment is broken and I were to give a duel action against the Conager, that player could not refuse it. Now, once the Troll regiment activates, it now has access to an ability given under broken regiments down there, where they can take a rally action to remove the broken status. So typically, if a regiment starts its activation broken, what it will do is use its first action to remove the broken status, and then its second action to maybe clash. If they accept meaning the Conqueror accepts the duel. Both character stands attack each other simultaneously, rolling to hit and making defense and resolve rolls as usual. Now, simultaneously just means the outcome happens at the same time, but you and your opponent can take turns rolling dice. So I'll roll for the Blooded. Let's say the Blooded hit with 3 hits. Then the Conqueror is going to make its defense. The Conqueror will go ahead and roll its defense. Let's just say its defense is a 2. I kind of forget offhand what it is. So it'll make 2, meaning it takes 1. So the Conqueror takes 1. Then the Conqueror will now take a resolve check. His resolve is a 4. And he passes it, so he won't take any further damage. Now the Conqueror will fight. The Conqueror will hit with all of these here, needing 5s or less. The Blooded has a defense of 2. I remember that at least. And he passes 2 and takes 3. So the Blooded takes 3 damage. Now the Blooded needs to make 3 resolve. And the Blooded makes 2 of the resolve, meaning he takes 1, taking 4. In recording the video, I forgot something very important actually. When a character is taking damage during a duel, and then the character needs to make a resolve test, the character will benefit from the bonus given by the regiment. So the Blooded's resolve of 3 is going to be increased by 1 because he's in a regiment of 4 stands, meaning after the Blooded, let's say, takes 2 wounds and now has to take 2 resolve tests, the Blooded will now take the tests on a 4 instead of a 3. And the Conqueror likewise has a base resolve of 4. And when he takes 2 damage, he now needs to make 2 resolve checks. His resolve is a base 4, and he's in a regiment of at least 4 stands. So his resolve will be a 5. Now, keep in mind that if the Conqueror's regiment was broken for whatever reason, then the Conqueror will have to take his resolve of a 4. He will not benefit from the +1 from the regiment. At the end of a duel, a character stand dies. Let's say the Blooded is dead. The regiment he's in takes a reform action for free. It automatically passes the resolve test to do it. There is no resolve test to make this action. All you basically do is remove the Blooded and close that gap. Now, you close the gap this way because this stand here is engaged with less stands than these 2 stands here. So we'll move them in. Now, let's say the Conqueror's stand died. Because the Conqueror's regiment has an extra stand in the 2nd rank, we're going to take that stand and fill in that gap. Just like that. Okay. Simple enough. So let's say both characters died during the dueling action. The active player reforms first, and then the non-active player reforms afterwards. So if the Blooded died and the Conqueror died, we're going to reform the Ogres first. They're going to close in here. And then we're going to reform the Trolls second. And that's how that would look. And that is the basics for dueling. A specific question was asked of me on what encourages a duel. Maybe that character is a caster and is casting spells to hurt your army, or he's buffing the regiments around him or debuffing you. Basically, you want that character dead. Another reason why you want to duel is you're trying to break the regiment. Because once the regiment is broken, all those negatives appear that we talked about earlier in the video. So hopefully this answers your question about dueling. If anyone else has any further questions regarding the basics of dueling, then let me know in the comments section down below this video. Within the week, I'm going to make a video going over every single army, their characters, and what various dueling builds they'll have. And remember, if you need a 2+ to charge, Don't fail your duel.